Hello, I'm here at my flat, which I just moved into a few weeks ago. Things are still a little bit unfinished in here, as you might be able to tell, it's a bit of a mess. But I have some friends coming over later and I really want to treat them to a delicious pudding. So I'm going to keep it really simple and make my favourite chocolate pud. It is so delicious that I'm going to share it with you. It's a salted caramel chocolate mousse and I'm going to make it right now. I'm going to start by making the salted caramel. So I have a pan here and I'm going to put 100 grams of caster sugar into that. And I'm going to put that on a low to medium heat to caramelise it. And I'm just going to wait for it to start caramelising around the edges and then I'm going to stir it. Nothing much is going to happen at first, but soon the sugar's going to start to melt around the edges. And once that starts to happen, grab yourself a silicone rubber spatula and start bringing the melted bits into the middle. It'll start off going a nice gold colour, which will then turn kind of amber. And just give it a stir every now and then to make sure all the sugar's dissolving. And then you really need to keep an eye on it. And then when it hits a really deep amber colour, that's when you need to pay attention. And now it's hit that deep amber colour, I'm going to add 60 grams of chopped butter and give it a really good stir. And with the heat off and the butter all melted, I'm going to add 200 millilitres of double cream and just stir it until it's completely mixed in. And once all your cream's stirred in, you then need to add a generous pinch of salt and just stir that around until it's completely dissolved. Right, that is lovely and smooth and it smells amazing. So now I'm going to remove 120 grams of it. I've just got a bowl here on some scales and that's going to be a little treat at the bottom of our mousse. Now it's important to do this next bit while your caramel's still hot. I have 120 grams of dark chocolate. This is actually chocolate which is 55% cocoa solid, so it's not quite as bitter as dark. And I'm going to put that in and stir it around until it's completely melted. And now that that's all nice and smooth, I'm just going to leave that to cool down because I can't do anything with it while it's really hot. And I'm going to get on with preparing my glasses. So I have 6 glasses here, and using that lovely caramel we took out earlier, I'm just going to put a tablespoon in the bottom of each glass. And you should have a tiny bit left over, which we're going to use at the end. But for now, I'm going to put these in the fridge and then get on with the next bit. Now that my chocolate mixture is cooled down, it's time to get on with the moussey bit. And I've separated 3 large free-range eggs. I've got my yolks here. I'm just going to give them a little whisk and then add them to the chocolate. And once your eggs are in, just whisk them together until they're completely combined for about a minute or 2. That all looks lovely and silky. So I'm just going to put that to one side, and with an electric whisk, because it's a little bit harder, I'm going to whisk my egg whites until they're a stiff peat. And now I'm going to add the egg whites to the chocolate and egg yolk mixture, and that's what's going to give this dessert this really moussey texture. So starting with just a third of it, I'm going to fold it through really gently. But once you have mixed all that egg white through, just add the rest and do the same thing until all the egg white disappears. Now, obviously I'm using whole raw eggs in my mousse, and if you're worried about that, if you're pregnant or you're making these for your grandma, or if you just don't like the idea of raw eggs, you can sometimes find in some countries pasteurised whole eggs. By all means use those, just refer to the brand guidelines for the weights, the equivalent weights. But I've mixed all my egg white in now. I've got my glasses out, so now I'm just going to distribute that into my glasses. And once all your mixture is in your glasses, you should have 6 delicious looking chocolate mousses, and these just need to set in the fridge for about 2 hours. My chocolate mousses are all set, but my friends aren't going to be arriving for about 2 hours, so I thought I'd better just try one for quality control purposes. And obviously, anything additional to these mousses is completely unnecessary. They are absolutely enough as they are. But is enough enough? If you don't think so, like I don't, then you should probably add a dollop of lightly whipped cream and maybe a bit of a drizzle of caramel and maybe even some shaved chocolate on top. Why not? That looks pretty delicious, so I better just make sure that it is. Yeah, that is so delicious. Oh wow, really rich, really light and moussey, really Moorish. Should definitely give this a go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I have. And if you make this, then please tag me in your pictures of it using the hashtag Cupcake Jemma on Twitter and Instagram. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, then you can do that by clicking on the link at the end. I will be back next week, and until then, I've got a lot of chocolate mousse to get through. See you soon.